let's take a look at how easy it is to add Word exporting support to a WinGrid application. So let's take a look at how much fun this could be. So I have an application here with WinGrid on the form and a lot of functionality turned on. I have a Microsoft toolbar placed here because I dragged and dropped the customer's entity onto the form and generated the grid, and then I went through and set a bunch of properties to turn on all this cool functionality. Now I have a Word button, so when I double click on that, I'm going to add an event handler here. All of our code is going to go right in here. So back to the form designer. So what I'll do is locate in the Infragistics toolbox the WinGrid Word Writer, which is right here. Immediately I noticed that I have a 2.0 version and a 3.0 version. So I'll take the 3.0 version because that one, that's using the 3.0 version of the assemblies. And there's a different type of support. I believe there's like this is like a specific file format is supported in the 3.0 assembly. Like the latest version of Microsoft Word will be supported there. There's some kind of code that's only available in that version of the framework, which is therefore why they made two versions of the assembly in the toolbox. So I just add that to the form, and let's take a look. I'm going to learn along with you guys out there. So if I just take a look at the various properties on the Word Writer, so I click on here, some checkbox export style, it could be image or plain old text. Just a couple of settings like table settings within Word. And again, it doesn't look like there's much in property settings, so it doesn't look overwhelming. So we could set some auto size, so size columns to content, which pretty much means it'll expand or collapse columns fitting the content in there, or none, it'll just probably cut off text or whatever sizing is currently set up in the grid. So that's just looking at some simple properties. And when I go to the code here and let's take a look at what we can do. So I just want to explore the properties on the Word Writer. And look, we do have an export method as well. So I expect that it would take a grid, and it should probably have several different overloads of the method here. So take a look at this one. Takes Word document writer, file name. So this one looks like the easiest one right here. So let's take the one with the file name. So having that pattern very well familiar with the other exporters that we have, we could do something like this. Okay, so we just create a simple file name, and then what we could do down below and then we start the file up, but then we'll pass the file here, and let's see what we get. Just beautify that a little bit. So save it and run it. And I have my grid with all this data, and let's click on Word. So it looks like it's generating the Word documents. It's iterating through all of the rows because I have 3 levels of data. I have customers, orders, and order details going on here. So it looks like it's getting all my customers in here. And they're all dumped into this Word document. Let me go back here for a second. Let me stop this and close the Word document. So that's everything that we have here. I wanted to show you. So remember this right here, e.layout, that is print layout. I could also check out if it's export layout is export layout. So this will fire whenever you're exporting it to anything, whether it's PDF, Word, or Excel. And in this clone of the display layout object, you could set properties on here. Like for example, you wanted to expand all the rows, or you wanted to do something like that. But there's another thing I want to show you. If I go back to the form designer, just close some of these guys out. And what we can do is click on the Word Writer, and just like our other exporting components, we have a bunch of awesome events. So we have different types of exports started. We should have export ending and ended. That's before it ends, that's after it ends. Each cell is being exported. Row exporting, summary cell. So there's a lot of different events that you could handle. So let's just have a little fun here. I could just do something like we could just write line here .e.cell value. Look at like the rich event arguments that we give you here. You get cell value, export value, columns, rows. Then you could do something here with word table cell settings. Let's check this one out. So again, you could set formatting. So in other words, you could format stuff as it's being exported. So you could find out what cell it is, what column it is that you're on, and if it's a certain type or a certain one or a certain value, then you could apply a specific type of formatting to the Word documents, to the actual cells that are being written. Don't need to put that one there. So again, just then in my output window. So dump it to Word. Clone of the display layout is being made, then dumped into Microsoft Word file, and process.start launches it. And I happen to have Word installed on my machine, so therefore it launches. But just want you people to know out there that our exporters have absolutely no dependencies on whatever it is they're exporting. So in other words, whenever we generate an Excel file or a Word document, we know how to do that from scratch. Like in other words, there's no type of Office interop or Office automation going on behind the scenes in our assemblies. We're just creating real live files of that type that comply to the Microsoft standards of Excel and Microsoft Word. And then of course it'd be nice if you had Word or Excel to open and edit the file completely, but you don't have to worry about all the nightmares of deploying an application that has very specific dependencies on specific Microsoft Office versions. All you do is just make sure you include the Infragistics documents assembly that contain Excel and Word and all that other stuff, and it just works, and then it just works on your end users' machines. So there you go. This is the Word exporter, easy to hook up, and I recommend that if you guys go out there and take your existing apps, add another button, kind of like what I did, and call it Word, give it a Word document icon, and do the same thing to yours and just add another valuable export capability to your existing app.
Infragistics. On the web at infragistics.com.